Sup, my dudes? We got the track review of 2019, the Sand Track, made by Atlazor. I'm pretty sure is how you say that. It might be Atlazur. I don't know how to exactly say his name, but I do remember him from some tracks reviews that I've done a little while back. But either way, as you guys can already see, this track is pretty well made. It got a fairly decent acceptance on the forums. You know, people seem to be liking this track pretty well from what I can tell. And what I like the most about it is you can tell it has its own style to it. You can really feel this dude's, you know, his own personal vibe that he's got. It's got some elements of like JGMX style with the rut design and just the overall type of feel to it, but it really is this own dude's kind of feel here, so you have to respect that. I mean, that's really cool when you can get a track that doesn't really feel exactly like any other track. You can tell it's got its own personal, you know, it's not like copy and pasted sections from other tracks or copy and pasted designs from other tracks, but it still does keep somewhat of that mellow, toned down JGMX local track vibe, but also implements some bigger, more fun factor style tabletops and bigger double jumps and stuff on it that make it fun for all skill level of riders, even if you are more at that pro level. But obviously it's named the Sand Track, so she's pretty sandy here, boy. You got to be careful. I mean, the sand is deep, but I've definitely felt deeper sand in the game, so it's not like, oh my god, you know, you're just going to be revving the bike out and you can't go anywhere, but there definitely is that, what you know as MX Simulator sand friction to it. I'm not exactly sure which traction he's using here, but I really love the way he implemented a couple of those little standing water wet areas on the track. That's so cool what that adds to the track. Makes you feel like you're in a real place when it's like that. Like you can see it right there to the right up here on one spot, one line on that, and then right there again, and then right up here again, right? It's interesting because it's like almost got this kind of deserty type of biome to it, but also there's certain wet spots on the track as well like that. So found that to be really cool how that sort of brought together the entire track and just the, you know, the overall feel of the whole thing as far as some of the more like, you know, super tanned, almost dried out tree type of look to some of the far off track trees, and you got these other types of trees right here. Like I'm saying, it's got this cool, almost like you mixed desert with like autumn or something like that. I don't know any other way to explain that, but cool how this whole section kind of switches back around, and the overall flow and the layout of it, you can tell, was very well thought out. It's not like something somebody just, you know, crammed together in 2 seconds. You can tell it's all very well put together. Not sure if this is like a real track or not. I don't know. I know it does say 2019 on the track. I don't know how the hell you make a 2019 track in 2018, but either way, unless it's like a, you know, an A1 replica of some sort before whenever they come out with the you know, the actual track map and stuff like that. So I don't know how this is actually a 2019, you know, sand track. I'm not sure what that pertains to or how that connects together. I don't understand that. We go into the future here, boys. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see how you can release a 2019 track in 2018. I'm a little confused there. I don't know if that was just an error or an accident or what that was, but or if this is like a track that's going to be designed in 2019. You know, that's a possibility. You know, a lot of people don't realize with MX Simulator how much you can use the editor to lay out designs and build certain stuff and do all that for your own real-life tracks that you're trying to, you know, build upon or create your own real-life track, build your own real-life track any way you want to. Well, you can go in there and kind of mock it up in the MX Simulator track editor before you go in there and try to build it in real life. You know, I can't believe they don't do that like with some of the bigger, you know, some of the more hardcore track makers out there in real life. I don't know why they don't go into MX Sim and kind of mock up some different ideas and test some different stuff out and just, you know, figure it out in the game and build it up in the game, see how it feels in the game before they go in there and build it in real life. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do, and I just don't see why MX Simulator in general is not used more like in conjunction with real life riding, as far as like bike setup stuff and the way you hit certain jumps, the way you learn certain jumps, the way you learn how to go through whoops. I mean, good God, man. I know this is not exact, but I'm telling you right now, just how hard it was to learn whoops in MX Simulator and how I figured out how to do it and how I just figured out how to, hit on-off sections, all this little stuff, the techniques you learn on how to do that. I 100% think that you can carry that over to how you would learn it in real life. I promise you it's that way. Just because of how real that bike actually feels in this game, like a real life dirt bike. I know it's not exact. I know it's not like, if you're a pro at MX Simulator, all of a sudden you're a pro in real life. That's definitely not what I'm trying to say, even though I have rode on arena cross tracks and legit whoops in real life and all that kind of stuff. Never got to the point where I could really like super, like skim over the top of the whoops. I was doing that, more so like kind of jumping through them. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you more amateur style riders out there. But yeah, I've rode on arena cross tracks and stuff where it has the peaked out finish line doubles, peaked out rhythm sections, that whole kind of thing. And so, but I just know how I've learned MX Simulator, and I feel like you could use a lot of these aspects to help you in real life riding, just as far as technique stuff and learning how to do it and learning distances of jumps, or if you can make a 1-to-1 scale ratio of a track and going on there and riding on it in MX Simulator before you go ride on it in real life, right? Like there's so many different applications and ways that you can use it in combination with real life riding. And personally, I believe this game is the future in that sense, as far as like, I think eventually it will get to the point where, you know how they've got all this, they try to modernize and get these tools to help them out in real life pro riding, and they get all this stuff. They got all this stuff that can track everything that you do on the track now, track your lines, track your speed, track your G's, all that kind of stuff. Well, the next step of that is let's go build this entire track in a virtual world and have our riders go test it out and ride on it with a bike that feels like a real life dirt bike in a virtual world. You get where I'm going with this? So like, I really think it's going to get to the point where a lot of your pro riders are going to play MX Simulator. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds stupid, it sounds silly, I get it, but you got to understand, like, that's where it's going to go eventually. Eventually, that's where it's going to go, because this is the next level of that. So either way, I'm getting off on some crazy topics. I don't even want to go all the way into that. This is a track review here. So yeah, man, either way, I thought that was a nice touch, putting the little water ponds in certain areas that have the little, I don't know if it's like little white rocks on it or what exactly it is, but just the overall layout, the way these sections kind of, go down, uphill, slight elevation, not crazy amounts of elevation. The way he's got his own style of the way he's built his roughness definitely is unique on this track. Doesn't exactly feel like any other type of roughness I've felt on any track. The ruts, like I said, are very reminiscent to JGMX style, which is not saying a bad thing at all, but they're slightly different. I think he integrated a little bit more kind of like roller roughness-esque filling through his ruts in the corners more than a JGMX would. It's a little bit rougher of a track than your standard JGMX, but it is a sand track at the same time. So yeah, it's got enough fun jumps to keep you interested, even if you are at that pro level. Got a lot of different type of lines and stuff you can hit. A little split lane section right here. You can go to the left and triple in, or you can go to the right and kind of do like a double type of thing. Then right here, you've got like a 4 rut coming out of this corner. A couple of the ruts kind of go into each other. You can carry a crap load of speed right here if you go through all this roughness and never really let off the gas. Throw some sick thug nasty fatties over that. And also over this triple right here. Triple's pretty big, not humongous, but it's big enough to where you're going to have to be on it, pretty hardcore on it if you're not on a 450, right? So also another split lane section. You can either go double and like a triple or a quad, or you can triple that. Then you can kind of sweep to this inside rut right here. Then you can go up the inside of this section and save a lot of time instead of like going to the outside. That's a really cool section he built right there, where you jump into this and it's like a raised up corner, but it goes down and then slants down over. It's almost like you're landing in a water slide section or a roller coaster section or something. And trust me, boys, I know all about them shits. But that's kind of, it's got that uniqueness to it, that type of feeling. That you could just tell that's like a section that you don't feel on every track, or you don't get on every track. So nice 3 rut most of the corners here. Now this section, you might be able to hook this all the way into those far rollers instead of just doubling this. I think you could if you hit her like wide open on the outside, but I was just doing that for, you know, trying to stay on the ground there, trying to go a little bit quicker like that. So this interesting little, I think this is the finish line. Yeah, you kind of like hit this, I don't know what this is, like a big like kind of wall, but yet it's really smoothed off. You can kind of like double up out of it. You might even be able to triple out of that. Not really sure exactly, but definitely some unique sections. See right here, coming up this jump face, how he's got, see there's like 10 or 11 little micro ruts going up the jump face. Really cool how he designed that on certain sections and stuff, but you can just tell the time's been put in. Like right here, you've got where instead of making it like where the roughness going up the face of this is even all the way up through it, where it just like looks like a legit whoop section up the face, he's like staggered it right here. See what I'm saying? He's got like a little bit more of a whoop in a certain area on the right side of it, and then it like goes to the left, and it goes to the right, and then back to the left, so it gives you this really cool like real life type of feeling to that. Overall, I just like the decal choice, the way that kind of looks, and the off-track decal kind of got that cracked earth, you know, super dry type of feeling to that. Nice little roller section right here. Just overall, well put together track, my dude. I mean, that's really all there is to say to it. Fun little triple here. Not sure. Yeah, you could probably quad that. I didn't actually think about doing that till just now, but you probably could quad that all the way to here. You just got to be careful not smack and bounce off the bike. That's basically the only concern with that. 4 rut coming out of that. So yeah, overall, love the design around it. Got those certain types of mountain objects in the far distance, but he's able to make it to where it doesn't look like every other track that has those mountains on their track. You know, he's done it in a way to where it looks, definitely has its own feel and it looks different. And same way, just the way he's done his trees and certain stuff like that has made that feel really cool there as well. And so it's so cool when you get the water, little water ponds on the track like that. Adds a lot of flavor to it for sure, though. But either way, man, I'm going to give this thing a, probably going to give it a 9 overall. And I'm going to say difficulty, you're probably looking at, some of these jumps are pretty hardcore. I mean, if you're like a straight up beginner, this be pretty tough. You know, really being able to jump some of this stuff. It's got that kind of friendly for everybody, but yet it's fun as a pro too, because you can hit some pretty big stuff. So it's kind of that for all skill levels. And then it's got the sand friction, so you don't get going so fast that it becomes like super dangerous, except on some of these super long straightaway sections. So other than that, difficulty is probably like, I don't know, medium, I guess I would say. So either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.